Hey everybody. Hey, I know it's been a while. I know that it's been a while, but I am back for another KiKi with Kat. And what better way to kick this back off than to talk about PValley? And of course, I got my good Judy with me. Yes, bitch, ENT, YBENT in the building. How you feeling?
I am good, baby. How are you?
I'm good. I did watch the episode with everyone else, but I just at the time, I didn't have it in me to say anything. It was a really great episode. I felt some things. We are going to talk about it. But overall, I really just want to talk about. Oh.
I'm sorry. That ginger ale, honey. Ooh, you know that little bite.
Ginger ale. You got to take it slow with the ginger ale, okay? Ooh. You can't take it too far, okay? You can't take it too fast. I want to run through every character and just kind of talk about what we thought about them and how their character arced and just changed throughout the season. So, for starters, before we get into the characters and just the storyline overall, what did you think about the overall season of PValley?
Let me tell you something. When you have a first-time show that comes through, shows up, and shows out the way that PValley did, you have no choice but to go up for it. This isn't just, I know some people that I have talked to, like straight people, are like, oh, I haven't gotten into that. Isn't that with all the gay shit? I said, actually, no. This encompasses the many facets of our life, not just LGBT, right. Straight people, straight women, the struggle of living in small town situations where there's not much there. So if the local strip club, honey, down to the Pink is where you're going to get your start, honey, it's just going to be what it is. And I think it's very relatable. Just overall, great acting, great writing, great production. Again, very relatable. And I see myself in a lot of these characters, the men, the women, the LGBT situations, all of that.
Mm-hmm. I loved it. I thought that it was to the point to where like you could walk out of your home and see Chuckalisa right before your very eyes. The characters were very homegirl next door. It wasn't something that was, make believe. I really believe that this storyline could have really happened in a small town. And it could have, really went the way that it did. So that being said, who is your favorite character on PValley? I already know, but
Uncle Clifford. Uncle Clifford reminds me of a lot of myself, but like a gay mother I used to have, just like someone that is just so hip and has been there and done that, is not fooled, is way more intelligent than what people give her credit for. Amen. Just does what the fuck he, she, we wants to do.
Amen.
Oh God.
I would have to say the same. I think that Uncle Clifford is by far my favorite. I love Mercedes. I love her acting and what she brought to the role. I feel like nobody else, even finding out later that K. Michelle was auditioning for it, she would have been cute. Nobody else could have done what Brandy Evans did. But even with that being said, Uncle Clifford, the character, made me fall in love with the person. I was Nico Anon because of Uncle Clifford. And I don't know if you know this, but he originated that role. It was a stage play before it was a television show, and he was Uncle Clifford in the stage play as well. So he is Clifford through and through. I would have loved to sing the stage play though.
I found that after the premiere of the season, and I was like, oh wow, I would have never guessed that it was a play. Because when you look at this cinematic work of art that they have, how do you translate this into a play, or vice versa? So I'm here for that. And who better else to play Uncle Clifford than the original Uncle Clifford?
Right.
You know,
that makes sense.
On and off the screen, to see who he is outside of Uncle Clifford, it's
such a contrast. It's such a contrast.
But it proves that the bitch knows how to act.
Brandy as well, because she's not ghetto at all.
Oh,
like,
no, not at all.
personally, she is not ghetto by far. Okay, so I want to save the two main characters for last. Let's get into the characters and just talk about the season overall, and as people pour in, then we'll talk about the final episode. So, first, Gidget. What do we think about Gidget?
I think like what Uncle Clifford named her, like you're the token white girl. You're the only white girl here that gets that kind of love. I think that's to be said in every hood, every country across the land. There's always going to be that one in the midst of a whole bunch of black shit. There's going to be that one white bitch who comes through and who is accepted by all and isn't looked at differently because she also shares in, their experiences because she's from there. That's where she grew up from. I think she plays the character well. I think her position in the show is perfect too because you get enough of her, but she's not
in the forefront.
You know what I'm saying? I think she adds what she needs to add. Kind of like how Adele Givens' character in Players Club was. We got enough of her, but she wasn't always there.
Right. I liked her character. I love the fact that Gidget fit in, but wasn't trying to. Gidget wasn't trying to be too black. Gidget wasn't trying to stand on a white soapbox. Gidget was just Gidget. I'm here. I know I'm white. I ain't trying to be black, but I'm one of y'all. I loved finding out who her man was throughout this season. I loved the thirst of it all when it came to wanting intimacy from her man. Like I was so tickled by that because watching Gidget, even though she is an exotic dancer, you don't get that from Gidget. She's a sweet little hometown girl. She's a home girl next door. She don't really get into no drama. She was in the background for the first couple episodes. I kept forgetting that she was there. So for her to have so much personality when she does show it was really great to see. And I loved her counterpart. Her boyfriend really played well off of her. And what I didn't like though, I said this was realistic, but this part was not. If that's your girl and you my man, fuck what Clifford talking about. If we got this moment to have sex, we gonna do it. The dude kept saying, "What about Uncle Clifford? She not gonna." So why are you really? What's really going on here? Because
any real job you can't fuck at work. You got to do a job. That's what home is for. That's what the car is for. Amen. In
this situation, he can your job. Part of your job is, almost fucking.
And that's one of the things that I loved about the show too, overall, and with these characters, is we never see these girls having sex.
Right.
We never. They're very professional, and I think it pulls away those misconceptions about strippers. And that's another good thing I loved about this show too. You don't see, they're shaking ass and getting that money, but not once do you see them being raped. Even in scenes where you thought they were going to be raped, like when Mercedes was in jail, I thought that man was going to take her cookie honey, but he just gave her a jacket. So I love those twists and turns throughout the show. I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but go ahead.
No. That was really on par. Like I love that too. I love how it broke that barrier. It broke that thought, that stigma. It really dissolved it because we think that, stripper is synonymous with hoe. And these girls were not, they weren't sleeping with every guy. They wasn't, keep your hands to yourself. Like they were really, disciplined about that. And they were really just there to work and to have a great time and to make money. And I loved how we saw the business of it all. Like when I almost called her our real name, when Mercedes was talking to Autumn and she was like, "You see the men over there? They do this. You see like teaching her how it goes." It gave me that's their version of a trainee. Your first day on the job, that person, walking you around, letting you know where everything is, where the break room is, and this is what you do, and then the 6 weeks of training or whatever you got to go through. That's what it gave me. Like, girl, this is just like any other job.
Yeah.
You got clothes on.
Work hard for the money.
Next, I want to talk about there were a lot of strippers that were there that didn't really have lines or backgrounds. Like the girl who kept farting, she don't even have a background.
She was just funny.
She was just funny. What about the DJ? What do we think about the DJ this season?
you know, I'm living for the DJ. I'm very surprised someone's so young. I would like to know, is he a minor in the show?
He is a minor.
Okay, so
He's still in high school, I believe.
Huh?
I believe he's still in high school.
So the fact that he's a minor, Uncle Clifford needs to be mindful. You know, he's in a place where alcohol is served. Well, it's not technically supposed to be served, but you know, you can't really be up in a joint like that.
Right.
I like him. I like his music. I like the fact that he's honest and he carries himself very grown. I think, again, that character speaks to the generation. A lot of kids are a lot older in their maturity now, the way they carry themselves. They're out here hustling. They're out here trying to get to this money. And again, you just don't know a person's life. Maybe he has no choice but to do it, to take care of his house and his home.
Right. As for me, I love his focus. When I found out how young he was and the fact that he's never tried it with any of the girls, he's kind of, you know, the little brother that's trying to be the big brother in protective mode. He was serious about his business. He didn't want to be late. He didn't want his music to fuck up. He didn't want to piss off the dancers. He wanted to take it seriously. And I really think that that's going to carry him, not only, you know, within this show, but, you know, out in Chuckalisa universe and PValley universe. When he decides to leave Chuckalisa, that focus and that discipline is going to carry him far.
Well, you see, I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but since we're talking about the character, we see that Little Murder, you know, in the final episode when he's about to be, you know, drafted into the label, he's like, well, I want my DJ with me. And he's like, oh, no, honey, we got people for that. You know, it's just like, that's kind of fucked up, but I understand the business at the same time. And to your point, again, I know you said it, but I wanted to touch on this real quick. I am surprised you got a young boy. His hormones are probably raging, but he's always professional, watching these grown women strut around, tatas and os, okay? And he's able to do it that way. Again, this show dropped and pulled out every misconception. For anybody that's just a first-time viewer just watching the show, you're going to think some things are going to happen like we saw in the Players Club, honey, okay? Right. This is not that. And that's what I love about this.
Right. And I love, now that you were touching on his professionalism, how much he, and we'll get into the other men as well, respect Clifford. There was no disrespect. There was no teasing. There was no, you know, gay shaming or gay bashing. It was respect. You know, it was clear that it wasn't going to be no, but I respect you as a person. Now, I really love that. Okay, so the next person I want to get into is Big L.
Don't you remember that guy from the game who was fucking with Tasha?
The one that was flirting with Tasha?
The one who was dating Pookie.
Pookie! He does give up Pookie tease the security guard. Yes.
I will protect you. I'm a dangerous ass man, and anybody fuck with you, I will burn their ass at the stake, honey.
He does give up Pookie tease. I love his character because his character was so silent, was so loud. When Big L walked in the room, you saw, you paid attention, you felt his presence. And he didn't do much. I've never seen him kill nobody. I've never seen him beat nobody's ass, I don't think. You know, like, he wasn't really violent.
No,
but his presence alone just instilled that fear in you. Like, don't fuck with me.
Okay, you'll get,
And again, I want to know his backstory. How did you get connected with Clifford? Because Clifford did say, you know, where Big L gonna work? Big L got a record. Well, how did y'all get connected? I would love to hear that backstory. Moving on to Diamond. What do we think about Diamond?
In the beginning of being introduced to his character, I was like, okay, hashtag I need more, bitch. But when I thought about it in a little bit of his story of being in the military, and God only knows the PTSD and the things that he has witnessed, I understand that his silence is actually very deadly. I love the character. I love the fact another straight man who is comfortable in his skin. And it's not just, and one thing I want to point out about all of these men, it's not about this. It's about real connection and real family tea. These people are beyond the fact of money. They know the peak is going down. Think about this. If you know your job is about to go down, what are you doing? You probably going to steal everything you can. You're probably going to steal everything you can. You're probably going to go ahead and say, fuck this job, and while you look for another one, why am I still here? You're going to go to questioning, are we still going to get paid? Not once did you see this, especially with people like important characters that protect the pink. like a Diamond or Big L. So
they banded together, actually. Remember, they required the signing of the petition in order for entry, right? And they stood by that. And I really respect them for that. For me, Diamond, my heart went out to Diamond. And the moment I saw his love and his respect for Mississippi, he was by far my favorite man on the show. Like, that to me is so attractive and it's so sexy that he's attracted to you, but he only wants what's best for you. He just wants to protect you. He's gonna let you move on your time. He's not gonna pressure you. And when he gave her that stone and told her what it meant, like I just was like, do you see what I see? Because bitch, like, I mean, I don't understand what. Okay, but
hashtag dumb bitch.
Hashtag dumb bitch, and we're gonna talk about it. But yeah, I love Diamond, and I really wish this storyline would take a different turn. I will say for season 2, I feel like whatever was there between he and Mississippi is dead. He will never look at her the same. Changed. For me, I would never look at you the same. Even if whatever was going on in your head, like, you gonna go to that measure on me. I just gave you a symbol that protected me. I gave up my protection to make sure you were good, which is ultimately what I'm doing here. And a gun is pulled on me. Me, Diamond may surprise me, but for me, I'm out.
Child, he was in the military. He's used to having guns pulled on him. He'll be all right. I don't think we're done with his storyline.
I mean, people pull guns on him that he don't really give a fuck about, that he don't really know. This is somebody that he has a relationship with and was literally protecting. That's like him fighting for the country and then the country giving him a dishonorable discharge with no benefits. For nothing.
True. I'm here for the character. I'm actually kind of surprised that I really would have thought he would have towed that white boy ass up with not a problem. All of this falling on the ground and losing your gun, like your military skills didn't kick in, honey. Like I would have dropped that white boy like a bad habit, because usually, like I said in a conversation I had about this before, most men who commit domestic violence situations and like enjoy beating women, they can't fight back. But that white boy was fighting for his life, girl.
He was taller than I expected him to be as well. From the way they angled the camera the entire season, he seemed small. I guess because of the way I viewed him, he just seemed very small to me.
Well, you know, Diamond, he's a small man too. So they probably
Diamond to me comes across as very tall.
Well, I think the way, like you talked about with the shooting, I think that's how they shot the scenes to make him look bigger, because I know in real life he's kind of short.
Okay. Speaking of which, let's move on to Derek, the boyfriend. What confused me the most about him was the fact that he referred to black people as niggers, but was dating one.
Slave master mentality. You got your white wife in the plantation home, but late in the midnight hour, you're going out to fuck the slave because you like that black punani. So we find things that are rooted in hate is rooted in deep love and shame.
Yeah. I didn't get that at all. It really confused me. But speaking of slave owners, let's move over to the Kyle brothers. What do we think of the Kyle brothers?
The two racist fuckers? Because when they threw that gun down on what's his name? Dre? What's his name?
Yeah, Dre.
Child, I immediately in that scene, and you saw it in his face, that you white bitches are gonna really pull a gun on me. In the way that everything was, you could just tell it was bent on. That was some racist ass shit. Racist vibe.
He said the Civil War isn't over. It's actually just beginning. He said that. But you know what? I was alarmed from the minute when he was like, go ahead, pick some.
Yeah, pick some cotton.
Then Dre was like, what? And he was like, well, everybody who comes, no, bitch. I know what the fuck you was trying to say. Like,
well, even Corbin.
Cotton. Don't ever instruct a black person to pick cotton. You just
don't instruct a black person to do any kind of servant type of work
at all.
When people try to pump my gas, and I understand they want a quarter real quick to go get some crack, but bitch, I don't even like when people offer to pump my gas. I don't like, even when I'm in the hotels, I actually take the sheets off myself, fold them. I don't fold them, but I put them in a pile. I take the trash and I put it over here. That way, when the maids come, I do that. I'm really weird like that.
Me too. I clean up all the time. My friends get on me about that all the time. Like, there's people who do. I just don't like to leave a mess. And just because it's your job does not mean I need to make it hard for you.
Hello.
I'm not a dirty person anyway. So it's nothing for me to clean up the fucking restroom when I'm done and to follow these sheets. Like, it's nothing.
Amen.
Yeah.
So I'm big on that slave type shit. It even bothered me too that Corbin was out there when we saw that lovely scene when Mama Clifford came up there in that red outfit, bitch, with her umbrella girl, serving us old English teas. When you see Corbin out here just cutting the grass, but you're the son of a slave.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know,
in the grass.
No, he's not.
Corbin, what pissed me off about him was the dialogue that took place when he was sitting on Clifford's porch, all bloody and bruised, and Clifford was nursing him back to health, literally helping him while he was opening his mouth saying, "I can't help you. I want you to help me. That's why I'm here, but I can't help you."
And didn't he say nigger with the ER, child? And Clifford had to get his.
Clifford was like, "Bitch, that's an ER, so you better correct that. Your white side is coming out."
Definitely.
And Clifford was hurt. You're not gonna support me or give me no money, bitch. And you benefit off my shit? Get your ass beat by your brothers from now on, because I ain't gonna do it. I went up when he said that. I went up.
Obviously, since we're talking about Corbin, did you catch the little tea in that scene I was talking about when they were in the field? And Clifford had to remind him about when they were younger. So I wonder if Clifford is known, you know, to rumble.
I don't know. I did catch that as well. And I love how comfortable these men are around Clifford. Whether they are into him or not, I love the comfortability of it all.
And even if you're not comfortable, Clifford's doesn't give a fuck. Look how she walked up in that barbershop.
In that barbershop, yes. Mama was like, "I don't give a fuck, and I'm gonna sit on the front row." What you gotta say? I love that.
And you know what? That was a symbol. I know Funky Doniva had talked about this before in a conversation piece about the being uncomfortable in barbershops and those types of spaces. So the fact when I saw that scene, I was like, break down that shit. I loved it because it was a direct reflection of the experience of the black gay child.
Yeah.
The black gay man. Hell.
And that message was, don't give a fuck. If you want to go get your haircut in stiletto, bitch, you do that. Go get your haircut in heels if that's what you want to do. Like, because Clifford didn't give a damn. Clifford didn't dumb down his look. Clifford didn't dress up more masculine. Clifford was Clifford. And I appreciate that so much.
Remember when Clifford went to that damn, when he made that deal with Patrice Child, the sister Patrice, and honey, she was like, and the hoes, and hoes too, come down to the paint. I was like, yes, yes.
Okay, I was gonna talk about the mayor, but since we're here, Patrice Woodbine. The hell we think about that bitch?
Patrice Woodbine is one of the reasons why I despise the institution of church, period. She is the reason why I don't take a lot of these, I'm holier than thou, I'm filled with the blood of Jesus and the Holy Spirit. That is the reason why I don't trust these type of motherfuckers. Look how she came through like a thief in the night. No, not like she did. Stole her daughter's money, then put it and bought the gym that was her daughter's dream all along. You didn't expect that. That was so fucked up. Not just that, the things that she did while she was locked up. The list goes on and on with Mrs. Even when she tried to take over the pastor's church, the narcissism of it all. How dare you? You had a humble.
Shall we go back to when we first met her when she was acting a fool in the parking lot?
Oh,
for money. Not that you wanted your daughter to stop stripping. You just wanted some money.
And even if you want to follow your own word, even the Bible says the money is the root to all evil.
It's the love of money. But
and
still.
you need to sit here and you need to humble yourself in the presence of the Lord, baby, because God is not talking to you. And whatever God you're serving, it ain't mine.
It's you. You are talking to yourself, hearing your own voice tell you what you think you should do. You went out and got a church just because the church that you were at didn't let you preach. That's it. It wasn't that you wasn't being spiritually fed. It wasn't that you was being corrupted, even though you weren't and you were. But nothing was really an issue. He just didn't want your ass in the pulpit, so you said, "Fuck all y'all hoes. I'm finna go buy my own goddamn church." God didn't tell you to do that, sweetie. And he damn sure ain't gonna tell you to do it with somebody else's money. He's never gonna tell you to spend somebody else's money to follow your dreams. God's gonna make a way for you to make your shit happen. Period.
Hello.
That girl gave you her money to clean and to hold. And you spent it. And then locked her out of it.
And then when your child comes to you, no matter what's happening, you drop your pride. You're supposed to drop your pride when your child is coming to you. I think they use that to show her mental illness. And amen, Jonathan. The bitch definitely has problems. Did you all notice the feathers that kept appearing in her face or hair would?
I did. Patrice would always have like a feather somewhere around her.
What is that a representation of?
I don't know, but I did notice that. I definitely noticed that.
I gotta watch it again. Then I didn't even.
The creepy relationship she had with the pastor. Like, you thought being one of his hoes was gonna get you what you wanted.
And unfortunately, that's a reality that takes place in the church.
Absolutely.
The secretary. See what Mary J. Blige said? I was your lover and your secretary. See, the secretary believes that they're meant to be more. Amen. Girl, don't subject yourself to the pastor's filthy misdeeds because you think it's going to help you level up in life.
Amen. Amen.
And I think that's what made Miss Patrice so mad. She gave up her righteous pussy thinking that it was going to bring her elevation. That's what made her so mad and say, you know what, I need to get some type of power back, even if that means fucking over my daughter.
But I thought that she low-key did that when she would like go behind his back and, the pastor want me to preach. And, she was getting in the pulpit and preaching even though he didn't want her to do that. I thought, that little banter back and forth was her way of saying, bitch, I'm going to do what I've been called to do. But to take 20 grand of money that's not yours.
And if it wasn't for that 20 grand, the church that you were trying to help that you're no longer a part of would not have been able to get where they were getting. So show respect and pay homage and love to the person who helped you. Because she didn't have to, because you're such an evil bitch. Be happy that anybody even wanted to try to help your ass at all. But
and you fall down on her for doing her job, but her job is the very reason why you have the money you have to betray her. Like I don't. She deserves to get her ass whooped.
This is just like what we saw in the Passion of the Christ, the story of Jesus going down to the crucifixion. What was that boy's name? Who betrayed Jesus for that silver?
Judas.
Hello, Judas. You can't trust them. You can't trust anybody. Your own family.
And I love this story because every time I think about it, it gives me chills because not just because it's biblical, but because it's so chilling because it can happen today. They were sitting down eating. Jesus told Judas, "You're going to deny me 3 times. I don't even got to tell you when or where, but 3 times you're going to deny me." And Judas was like, "No, not me. God, I would never. We good. I'm casting me out here. Yes, bitch. Never, ever in a million years." And it was a time, I think he was like sort of on trial for something. I don't know the story. Jonathan, do not kill me because I know you're a pastor. But he was on trial or something, and they were saying, "Do you know Jesus?" They were trying to crucify Jesus, and I guess crucify whoever knew him or was with him. And they was like, "Do you know him?" And he was like, "No." And literally in a row. They asked him, he was like, "No." They asked him, he was like, "No." The third time, "No, I don't know who you're talking about." And as it happened, him and Jesus locked eyes. And it was just that chilling feeling of, bitch, I told you.
Betrayal at its finest.
Betrayal at its best. And I think he hung himself. I think he Killed himself.
Yeah, he hung himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so getting back to PValley, the mayor. What do we think of the mayor?
First of all, shout out. I forgot what his real name was, but I loved him from Grey's Anatomy, honey. Yes, God. Wonderful actor. He's very what's the word I'm looking for? Underappreciated in the acting world. That man can act his ass off. So shout out to the mayor of Chucalissa. It was good to see him in this asshole role because we never really get a chance to see this actor play roles like that. So loved it. The mayor though, it's a love-hate because when he was explaining to Andre the reasons why he was doing certain stuff, you got to think about it. You're in a town that's desolate, that has nothing. So what do you do when you got these billionaires trying to come through and improve your community, knowing that's going to bring jobs, knowing that's going to bring some type of sustainability to your community and improvements that are very much needed? Because when you look at Chucalissa, you think of the Backyardians, honey. Okay, you think of a wasted land, tumbleweed, bit the Wild Wild West, niggas on horses going to fetch a pail of water, girl. Yeah, Isaiah Washington, that's his name. Yes.
Isaiah. I get what you're saying. I just think the way he was going about it was real dirty and grimy. And I mean, work with your community. Like, you wanted a park in your name, so you did what you had to do. Have your casino. But work something out with Clifford, even because I think initially Clifford was like, oh, bitch, we're going to be inside the casino getting real money. Like, he thought he was in on the deal. You cut PValley out altogether, and it's just like, why?
This is why I think it's important.
I have to disconnect too. I want to get to the root of why Clifford and the mayor don't see eye to eye. What do y'all got going on so y'all can't even get along?
Well, I was just about to say that I think it's important. We talked a lot about the fact that we need a prequel. I need something that sets the scene for how these people got into these relations. Because it's not like they do flashback scenes like some shows do, to where we can get the picture on like why these people.
Well, they did, but they only did for Autumn. They didn't do it for really anybody else.
Right. Again, hashtag I need more. So I think after the second season or when they get done, I would like a prequel, or maybe they can do another show too at the same time. Hello, God, give us the back end of it all. Because
I want to know everybody. I want to know how everybody that's connected to PValley, how did they get there? I would love to know that. But yeah, I want to know what's going on with him. I get what you're saying again, but I don't cut him out of the deal, and don't get mad at your godson for trying to make sure that everybody's okay. You know, like.
Well, when it's all about business, and as we see that he's not just the runner of this idea, there's powerful, rich white people involved too.
Right.
And that cut.
If you ask me, the lease was smarter. The Kyle brothers wanted to sign for $6 million, but the lease was smarter because you get more on the back end. Why didn't they see that? If they would have just settled down and just kind of, like, listen, instead of just, they hear $6 million, they think, okay, yeah, but over time you can get 150. Depending on how lucrative this shit is, if you just lease your property as opposed to selling it, because you still own it.
I just think when, again, like Corbin said, y'all spent all your money. They were looking for instant gratification. They're not trying to look at it for the far end. Them boys probably have debts, creditors climbing up their motherfucking ass. So they just want to sell because they're thinking about that instant coin. Corbin, on the other hand, again, once was last, shall soon be first. The Bible says, amen. And I truly believe that child, him being the shame of the family, okay, has a better idea than they do, and they can't take it. Right. That's why that's also something that fuels their anger.
Yeah. Introvision, yeah, they did leave things out because I talked to Brandy personally. They wanted to get picked up for a second season, so they didn't tie everything into a nice little bow. They didn't wrap everything up or explain everything because they wanted the story to continue. So I can respect that.
But and to that point, though, I want to add this. This is one show that I like because not like Power, where you're like, girl, you know, you could have fit this in an episode instead of dragging it on to the next one. I was satisfied with every single episode. I didn't feel like I was missing anything, or
nothing was
you know, I was
everything was necessary to tie into the entire season.
Right.
Absolutely. I will say, and I love how, because most Black writers don't do this. Some do, but most don't think this intricately to tie something from like the first episode and weave it into the seventh. The fact that when sorry, girl. The fact that when Mercedes got arrested, not the bailiff, but the guy that was taking her pictures was the same guy who Wallace she took in the first episode. That just little stuff like that means the world. Or the fact that like that drunk girl in episode 7, how they weaved her through the entire episode and she ended up meeting Mercedes when she initially came to the club to meet Mercedes. Like it all just, and that she owned that episode. That bitch owned that entire episode.
Yeah,
another person that we can dive into. I guess next would be Andre. No, before we get into Andre, let's talk about the girl, the Secretary Fish that used to be a dancer. What do we think about her? What's her name? I forgot her name. It started with an E.
Eloise.
What do we think about Eloise?
I like the fact that she finally woke the hell up and was like, you know what, let me do something. Sometimes people forget where they come from. And I think for a little while she probably did. But if you catch her attitude from the time we met her in the show, you could see that she really wasn't feeling the bullshit that she knew was going on. And I think when Clifford heavily reminded her, bitch, because there's always someone there to remind you about your where you come from, girl.
Right.
I think that fueled Miss Eloise to say, you know what, she's right. If it wasn't for my star at the Pink, bitch, I wouldn't be able to be here right now. Exactly. So help the kids out.
Exactly, and I'm here for that. I love the fact that, she was, and it was so crazy because at the beginning of the season, I never knew they had a relationship. I just thought Clifford was like, bitch, girl, I don't fuck with you and you don't fuck with me. But when they went to the nail shop and she was like, lest I remind you, bitch.
And speaking of the pain in this situation, we're often reminded that these girls, one girl's going to nursing school. One girl is trying to do X, Y, and Z. These girls are actually motivated. They're using the Pink to help them uplift their own current situations, to elevate in life. And again, we forget that strippers, they used to be what's the word I'm looking for? They used to be like the thing. Oh, girl, you must be paying to go to college. And actually, yes, they are. You think they're stripping just because they like to? They're doing it because that is what's
cool. And then it became, I'm funding my career. Whether you wanted to be an actress or a model or, a singer or a rapper, you were dancing to fund that. Or, just to take care of your kids. I knew some people who was working day jobs and taking their clothes off at night to make sure that they was living the life they wanted to live.
And it's unfortunate. That's how. See, if we were, that's going into a whole thing. But if we were given our 40 acres and a mule, bitch, given our wealth, we wouldn't be having to be dope and strippers. We wouldn't have to be subjecting ourselves to the plight of the streets, bitch, just to make ends meet.
Amen. So moving on to Andre. What do we think of Andre?
That big ass dick. He's a quick comer.
Baby, when they simulated that motherfucking nut, I've never seen anything like that. The closest I've seen to that was that movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. when he like stuck.
Oh, in the boat trip.
The boat trip, yeah, when he nutted and it dropped on that man's forehead. Other than that, like I've never seen anything like that. The fact that we saw his dick and then seconds later it was like a simulation of something like skirting on his chest.
Yes.
Y'all did that. Stars.
Hey, girl.
Y'all did that. I love and hated him. I love the way he cared for Autumn. I love his mind and the way he wanted to protect everybody. But then I hated him because it's like, you are a really nice guy to Autumn. And you are really like swooning her and just being this perfect guy. But nigga, you married. It's like, you only bring me up to let me down.
And I hate to say that that's the standard, but I mean, it just is what it is. That's men, child. That's just the That's just it's not unheard of. It's not uncommon. It's unfortunate that I think that way, but that's life. It's always been that way. Okay, Miss Trish. Yes, God.
Okay, Miss Trish.
I love the fact that we got to see him in we don't ever get to see our black men and our black women in positions of power. So I like the fact that he's educated. He went to school. He handled his thing. Now he's, what did he say? He is an attorney or whatever the case may be for situations like that. So I'm here for the professionalism, the academic, achievements that he has going on. Yes, and then it goes to show no matter what you have, and you might have the baddest wife who has the baddest career, but men and being in the flesh, we are faulty beings, and we are unfortunately driven by temptation, and that's what we see here today.
Before we move on to an actual character that's a part of the main storyline, Brittany, the wife, what do you think of her?
She reminds me of a Mariah Huck. Girl, you trying to drive the ship and you trying to be Miss Thing, but not realizing, girl, a nigga gonna do what he wants.
When she was like, "No, Atlanta's your home," like it's like, girl, stop trying to steer this ship. But I think the reality of her world set in after they had that quickie. Like I said this in the chat, but when he walked off to take a shower and she went from "ooh, you must have missed me" to like kind of tilting her head and looking at him like real good, like you know your man. You know your man, and something was off, and she felt it.
Watch your man, then you should watch your mouth. Bitches is pressed, administer mouth to mouth. Bitch.
Who are we going to? Oh, Mississippi. What do we think of Mississippi?
Crooked letter, crooked letter, crooked letter. Definitely crooked in the mind. She's missing a couple of fucking brain cells because she's out here just doing. And okay, let me back it up. One thing I appreciate about the character, extremely relatable. We know a girl like this.
Mm-hmm.
Someone knows a girl like this. So her story, I think, was meant to touch someone who is probably most likely going through these situations now in life. Beautiful. Highly intelligent, especially wonderful marketing skills. The girl has talent and she has brains, but we unfortunately see that she's only using them for other situations versus the situation she really needs to use her power for, which is leaving that fucking domestic violence situation that is that finance white boy. I love her, and I think she adds something, that shy girl, but it's busting out on your ass, especially when she got to do Mercedes Sundays, and you got to see her in all her glory. But I would love for that same projection of pride and power to be invited in all of the facets of her life.
Right. I'm sorry, but let me start off by saying, ain't no nigga finna check me in no mini metro. I'm sorry. And I think that clearly, even though he's looking down on her as if she's the inferior, the fact that you're always available to be at the club watching her lets me know you don't have a job. So if I'm the breadwinner, I need you to shut the fuck up and let me do my job. And stop abusing me. I don't know when it started. That's why I would love to get a prequel, a behind the scenes. When did you start putting your hands on Mississippi to let her even know this shit was okay? When did she start accepting it? Like, how? Like, it don't even seem like he apologized anymore.
But you know what? A long time ago, I don't know where I saw this at. Maybe it was a real strip club, or maybe it was on the Players Club. It's not a good idea for strippers to have relationship attachments, because you end up getting someone who is jealous, who does not want you showing your body for these men. If you're going to be a stripper, you're going to do some type of work like that, I don't think you should be in a relationship with someone. Because
do you think that it could work between she and Diamond, though?
I think it could, but Diamond has a lot of things he needs to work out in his own mind. You can see he's not all the way there. Maybe he needs to go to the vet, the
VA.
The VA, my bad. And talk to someone.
Right.
Because it seems like I'm waiting for him to blow the pink up. I'm waiting for him to really hurt someone. And
He does seem like he's suppressing a lot.
I think he took it out on that white boy. But to be honest with you,
he was fed up. He been knowing that he been beating her ass for the longest.
But that's what I'm saying, though, too. Like, a real man, I know that we don't like to get ourselves involved in people's business because, as we saw, she pulled the gun out and she defended her man regardless. But my thing is, you're in Chucalissa. I'm quite sure if you murdered him and threw his body into a cane field, no one would even notice.
But then again,
much about me.
It didn't take Montavious long to find Autumn at all. It's a small town. But then again, he wouldn't have found her if that bitch ass sheriff wouldn't have gave her up.
Well, he found out the transactions though. That's how he found out where she was.
He found out the city she was in, but when he went to the sheriff, he was talking to that old man, that same old man that was at the paint when he looked in his rearview mirror and saw Autumn walking, matched up to that damn flyer, and I believe he called Montavious. Because that night, Montavious strolled his motherfucking ass into one place where she was at. Never came there before.
And he actually did know that he kind of felt like he knew she was there. So something had to lead him.
He knew. He knew. That man told him. Because remember, this was the same episode that Mercedes was in jail. That we even met Montavious. The reason why them flies was out was because he was looking for her at the police station. Talking to that same sheriff. Who don't even really give a fuck about the pain anyway.
And that's where I'm going to need Uncle Clifford to really utilize her blackmail, because that sheriff should have never been able to step to you. Boy, you've been taking payment from me for the longest. And if I was people like that, start taking pictures, start collecting your receipts on these people. So when they do try to come up against you, you can show them.
Girl, speaking of which, I would say the answer to that is surveillance cameras. But that would lead me to my dilemma. Why in the fuck is the Pink in so much debt and y'all packed every Sunday?
Well, you remember that conversation that Uncle Clifford had with his mom, Loretta Devine, hello God, her grandmother. My bad, because even they try to make her look old. Loretta Devine still look young, bitch. Hello God, blind and all. But I think okay. So I think just based on what we heard in that scene about how she ran it through the ground and took out all these loans and everything, Uncle Clifford inherited that debt. The same way Obama inherited the Bush administration, hello God, and all that fucking shit. So, and then Uncle Clifford himself had to do other things to improve the Pink. Obviously, if it was a lounge or whatever before, imagine the loans he had to take out in order to upgrade the Pink to make it look like a strip club. So... Right. Debt, past debt on top of current debt, it's just hard to come back from that.
Yeah, that is true. But with the car washes and everything, and the fact that these hoes is paid, like.
But you got to think about, you got to pay, you got to tip out your bar, you got to tip out Diamond and Big L, you got to tip out your DJ.
But y'all doing that shit illegally because they said either titties or liquor because you couldn't do both. And then once we introduced the infused wings, that should have just improved the menu.
You still gotta buy the food. It's just when running a business of that magnitude, there's so many things you got to pay for. I don't care if she was making $100,000 a week. It still probably wouldn't be enough sometimes. You got to pay a lot. Repairs, maintenance, cleaning fees. There's just so many property taxes. If a leak happens in the building, you got to pay for that. There's so upkeep. All of that stuff is very expensive. Very expensive.
Now it's not just Clifford's problem. I think murder. What do we think of Lil Murder? Because I think we down to the last three.
I love me Little Murder. He is definitely the representation of the kind of guys that I've had in my life. Let me be explicitly clear as it pertains to his character, because we know in real life, Mr. Alphonse will let you know real quick that that he does not belong to the girls, that he is not involved in our community like that.
Amen.
He loves to let us know that. But as it goes for the character, I love the character. Again, very relatable. I believe for the majority of the gays, we've had some trade like that before. But I'm living for the fact that we're seeing this character, because it's usually on the other side. Usually the queen is pushing for the relationship. The queen wants to be out and about and be proud with her man. The queen is the one who wants so much from this man, but we see that it's the other way around. Right. And I love that because that's also a very real scenario.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And I love that whoever she sat down and had a conversation with, let her know that, because a lot of times the bottoms seem like we're the thirsty ones when it's like, girl, walk with me. Walk with me Sundays, in the words of YB. Bitch, you need to see what it's really like. Me speaking personally, I get catcalled just about as much as a female. Like, I don't know this, the way I carry myself or just the areas that I populate, but it's always them. It's never me. And the fact that we saw that reflected and saw his interest in Clifford from the beginning. Now, what I will say about his character is, even though I was disappointed in the way his storyline went as far as his relationship with Clifford, I'm also content because that's realistic. Like, what I saw happen in the season finale could have happened in real life. Legit. Like, I for real could have seen that happen. So when I saw the storyline take a turn, I was like, damn, but at the same time, I still related to it.
I felt like his character was interesting because it puts those types of guys, and it gives that storyline for those types of guys who are currently experiencing that kind of down low experience, that stressful process of straddling the world, the two different worlds of trying to be straight and also trying to please your gay lover. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a wonderful piece, and I hope that you already know, honey, all the down low boys and all the boys that are struggling with that plight, I am here for them sitting at home, eating their popcorn, drinking their wine, Olivia Pope status, and they're taking it all in. And I love the direction that it's going in because, again, as fucked up as it is in the end, we see that process. Don't be scared to take the girl out real quick. Kiss that girl. Introduce me to your grandmother, and the fact that he was so happy.
Like, you wanted to take me out, but as soon as you were presented the opportunity to sell me out, you did. So, like, what should Clifford believe at this point? But I will say, not to give him any credit, but to give the hetero side of life credit. I love the stance his friend took. Nigga, I saw you. And believe it or not, I don't care. You can't control who you love. Just don't let it fuck up the business. And maybe that's why.
I ain't gonna lie, but I don't know if it would happen for you, but for me and every other queen out here in the world, child, when the boy confronted Little Murder, I thought he was gonna say, well, can I get some dick? What about us?
Yes, I thought he was gonna say, like, you finna give away what I've been wanting all this time. Girl, can I get a piece of Miss Clifford? What's it like? But that's okay, girl. I'm speaking the second season with me in it, so maybe the friend may be trying to get a piece of me. Hallelujah. But okay, moving on to someone else.
Well, drop the 4. Well, get us the interview, baby. Hello, God. You know him. Tell him to come through.
Tell him to come through for a KiKi with Cat. I would love to have him. You know what? Let me stop dragging my feet. Nico, I know I can get Nico on. I know I can. I've just been dragging my feet. But I know that I can. But moving on to who do I want to bring up first? Let's do Autumn.
Okay.
What do we think about Autumn?
You know what's crazy about Autumn is when you're introduced to the character, you think that you have this shy girl who is not up on life. You think you have this dumbass bitch who is just coming through, doesn't know what she's doing. But then as the season goes on, you realize this bitch knows way more and has experienced way more than you could ever imagine. And the shock and awe that was presented to her by Mercedes' character was very shocked that, girl, you living in squalor and filth, but you're making that coin. You know what I'm saying? There's a method. You're driving a nasty ass beat up car, but you're making that coin. So I think a lot of the people's perception of Autumn, her cast, not the cast, but you know what I mean, her co-stars, characters, could not believe or fathom that this quiet ass, shy looking bitch really is the epitome of a powerful woman. And I think one of the things that was interesting also was, and that I put together, was when what was his name? The gangbang dude, her husband or whatever he was to her? Montavious, when he told Mercedes, you don't know this bitch. This bitch is cold. This bitch is calculated. And as we see in the final fucking scene, when she bought the paint, Hello God, which I told the Justice League, and I know y'all bitches ain't here right now, but which I told everybody, honey, that I believe that Knight was going to save the paint. And she did. But when you see her demeanor, you go to thinking about what Montavious said. Bitch, she's cold and she's calculated.
I honestly thought the bitch was gonna run. When she left with that money and saw that gun was gone, I thought the bitch was going to run. When she went to her car, I thought it was over. She was gonna give Mercedes up. When she came back, I was thoroughly surprised. About the time she was at that auction, Mama had a new attitude. She was patting LaBelle to the bullshit, okay? And that demeanor you were talking about, she definitely displayed that, and it was really like so different.
Uncle Clifford and Mercedes looked at her like, girl,
What really surprised not only me, but I'm sure everybody in the room, was the jump. I think they were at like 210 or 215. She could have just said 220, 230. Bitch said 250. But at that time, homeboy wasn't even betting no more. I want to do it just because I want to flex at this point. I got it. And that's when the mayor was like, hold on. You want to pull a fast one, bitch? You got to have the cash money right now. Oh, this cash right here? The cash that's going to drop at your feet?
Mama said,
I'm about to drop at your feet? And angelic, all godly, all white.
I was here for it because it definitely served you like, girl, I've come to save the girls. Remember how Olivia Pope wears white when she's coming to save the day? That's the tea that I got from Autumn Knight's presence and her attitude. She can finally be who she really is now.
And I love that.
That's what we're seeing, and I think we're going to see more of that out in the next season.
Absolutely. I love that she did it in the all white with the black eye. I'm not going to put no makeup on, bitch. You see what the hell I've been through?
Yes, God.
Cash. Yep, right. She did not know. She knew they didn't have it. She knew they didn't have it. As a matter of fact, I mean, Andre was loud. He wasn't silent about the fact that he could only cap at 200. Which means that, she could have, again, 210, 215, 220, hell, 230. She said 250 because she knew they would not be able to reach that. But even if they could, Andre had long hung up the phone. He was done.
Trying to win it. He wanted to help her out.
Right.
He stalled it, which I was here.
He owed her that much, though. You swooned this woman. Made her think that she was just the end all be all and the whole time he was married. I mean, yes, she knew that from the beginning, but still. You owe her that. You owe her that. So moving on to Mercedes.
Man, this wouldn't be a show without her character. One of the things that I enjoyed about it is when you watch the first couple of episodes, you go to thinking that this is probably centered around her. And one thing I love about the direction of the show, the production, the writing, is that creates that illusion that, is this about Autumn Knight? Is this mainly about Mercedes? You know what I'm saying? Who is this story really about? But realizing this story is about everyone, but it would not be anything without the Mercedes character.
Right.
She is that bitch who held up the paint for many years and probably will continue. She has no choice now. Girl.
She back at 1. She ain't got no money. I mean, I think she got 10K, but
I hope that was more, because it seemed like that was more than $10,000.
Well, remember, she gave her a big lump sum of it back. She was like, I really wanted to I just want
a whole handful. That had to be more than 10 grand, child. Unless it was all in ones. You know, but I think the Mercedes character is so relatable. I know plenty of women like her that are going through that got pregnant young and who had no choice but to either let their, you know, their mother or whoever else try to raise the child. The struggles with your mother and the past trauma that poor child had to endure that we see leaking off into her adult life. Very relatable character. I feel bad for her in moments, but I love her strength. And I love the fact that no matter what, she's going to do her. She can come off cold because in the beginning, her character was very reminiscent of Ronnie Tease from the Players Club. And I wasn't feeling that. But once we saw that was just an exterior to protect her emotions. Mm-hmm. She slowly starts to break down and become a real relatable human being, not this cunt bitch that we thought we were going to get. Someone who is understanding, compassionate, and who is willing to go above and beyond for her motherfucking friends. What about your friends?
Okay. And I'm here for that. I, too, was not really feeling her the first episode. Well, the first couple episodes, she was not here for Autumn, and I was not here for her. But once I saw her heart, honestly, when I saw her relation to her mother, when the mama cut the fool in the parking lot, and she was just like, here, bitch, just take the bag of money. At that point, I was team Mercedes because I don't like for anybody to be taken advantage of. I don't like that at all. And the fact that, like, I knew, Mercedes knew, the camera crew knew, and Patrice knew that she was manipulating this girl for this bag of money. As soon as you got the money, you just got up and got in your car and left. Like, no, I was here for it.
And they called me all kinds of foul whores and all kinds of shit. And then once I gave you the money, that's where the forgiveness lies? Girl, please.
Now we're good. And then this girl is a mother, and I found out, you know, that part of the storyline. I'm like, oh my God, like, and you're only doing this dance situation to better your relationship with her, and you're really trying, and you had this bedroom made up the entire time. Like,
yeah,
I really invested myself in Mercedes as the episodes went on. I saw her heart a little bit when she had to take Autumn home.
Yeah.
And she was like a bitch, but she was like, damn, I'm just trying to see about you. You know, like, you could tell that she has a tough exterior, but her heart was just pushing through because if it's back there, it's going to show. That light is going to break through the cracks of whatever wall you're trying to build.
Love that.
And also, like, her heart again showed with her relationship with Clifford. Like, you want to leave, you don't want to dance anymore, but the fact that you know that your friend is in debt and needs you, and he was there when you needed him. Bitch.
And wasn't she about to give him her money that Autumn gave her? Like, anybody who will give you their last, that is a real motherfucker right now. I don't know if I can give my last, okay, child, but the fact that they were willing to give the last to save
he had. And just like again, because Clifford was gonna do the same. He gave her a stack of money. Remember, he gave her a stack of money, and she was like, "Nah." He was like, "Nah, this was for you anyway, baby." He left this for you. You know, like, he gave it just like when she was in jail. She said, "Don't use your money for me. Save the pain." You know, like, their relationship made me really love Mercedes, and the fact that when she was in jail, she really tried to connect with her mama, and that bitch still turned on her and tried to put on a show to try to force me into reconciling with you.
And that's what I didn't like about that scene. Like, why the fuck? That's not a conversation for all these weird ass bitches around us to be purview to. This is a conversation we should have at home when we're not in this stressful situation. Yeah. Furthermore, letting me know that that's not a real mother.
Because for me, even as a parent, I'm not a parent yet, but I'm sure, you know, my child could say a lot of things. My child could say, I'm pretty sure I would never put my child in a position to say to me that I'm dead to them. But even if that happened, when my child needed me, I wouldn't say, "Oh, bitch, I'm dead to you." Like, you're my child. Like, why would I ever? Like,
I mean, if you are about that life, Mercedes, burn that gym to the ground. And honestly, I don't even think that was a good financial business move anyway, because I think a lot of people try to tell her the same thing. The gym for Chuckalisa, y'all ain't even, The girls are trying to skip by enough as it is, honey. I would just buy a McDonald's or some shit real quick. Invest in something that is going to be a continuous.
I would invest in, like, outfit. Hell, like, you got a whole entire house. Why they can't practice in your backyard?
I mean, seriously.
You know, move the furniture around in your bedroom. I mean, your living room. Do something. You know, do something. Knock down. Use that money to knock down a wall to where you know. Like,
thought about it. What if that was God interjecting and saying, "You don't even need the gym, bitch.
You don't
think about something else."
Use that money for like uniforms and go out, compete, win real money, so you can buy you a real space, bitch, that you ain't got to pay rent on. Get you a space built up from the ground. You know that not only you but the parents can be proud of.
Or something you can utilize like from night and day, because you have like, I don't know about there, but in Florida we have restaurants by day, and those same restaurants by night turn into nightclubs. So maybe if you did something like that can have a multi-purposeful situation, multi-purpose business, to where you can have, you know, a steady stream of income coming in all in one place. Because I don't think that subscription shit was going to be anything. Try to take that to Shark Tank, and Mr. Wonderful will get you together, honey. Because that's a whole bad business move, though. But hey, I ain't hating. I love her discipline, the fact that she stacked her bread, she had a dream, and she stayed on top of it. And that's the real message I think Mercedes
cared. And I think also was a real, like, if she would have connected with Autumn prior to doing this, and they would have had a real relationship, this could have been lucrative. Still buy that gym. Hell, on the days that you're not doing rehearsals, you know, with the girls and getting their subscription, you could be giving pole dance classes. Finding a way, you know, renting out the space for dances, or, you know, for music videos or something like that. Lil Murder is about to get signed. He gonna need a place to shoot his video. He gonna need a place to rehearse.
And that's the thing too. Like, look. You have to look around your town. Your town is already suffering. Tumbleweed is running through the streets. We don't see people living grand lives in Chuckalissa. So who has the extra funds to pay for their kids? Some of these parents probably couldn't even pay for the field trips. They kids off of school.
I mean, when we saw that house party that her daughter was hosting, that was a bad fucking house.
But it probably was on the other side of town, though.
It might have been, you know, but we don't know.
You're trying to build your business in your community. True. And your community is already financially in hardship, obviously, because we're willing to sell our soul to get a casino put in. Hello, God. So, I mean, I think the business, that particular business probably would have been a sunken ship, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, because you just wanted a space to rehearse. Like, you could have built a contract with somebody and just had a space, you know, for X amount of hours throughout each month, you know.
Instead of purchase, why not just lease?
Because you got to, you know, you have to think about all of the utilities, like you said about the bank, upkeep, utilities, like mortgage, you know, property insurance, all of that. And if you're using all of the $20K you got to pour into just the down payment, even the realtor was like, "Girl, you sure you can pay for this, girl? Because I don't know, you know."
It's a lot.
Yeah, and okay, so while we're on Mercedes, before we move on to the last character, I'm gonna do two more. The daughter.
I don't blame the daughter for being in her feelings. She wants to be with her mom. But I feel for kids who look at their parents and say, well, you can do something. Why can't I do it? So I'm on the fence about that, because I understand Mercedes taking her stance, and no parent wants their child to have to go through what they had to do in order to get where they are and to provide for their family. I get that part. But you can't be so shut off.
Right.
That's what the kids are doing now. They twerking in Snapchats. They doing all the kinds of, yes, put your foot down and bring discipline, but it's kind of hard to do that when you're not truly in her life 100%. It's
really hard for you to police them from doing the very thing you're doing.
I mean, like,
I can see if you were just, a parent, like if this was that girl's foster mom, her adoptive mom saying, "Girl, stop shaking your ass and doing that," because this woman works a corporate job, as opposed to, your job is to shake your ass, and yet you don't want me shaking my ass.
Yeah.
It just doesn't add up. Okay, so yeah, I love the daughter. Loved her energy. I loved how she had a mind of her own. First I thought she was being a bitch, but when Mercedes pulled up to her at the tennis practice, and she was just like, "I was supposed to be with you this weekend, and you out here getting fucking arrested, bitch. So no, I ain't got shit for you."
But the one thing that pissed me off about that is a lot of these, let me tell you, the hashtag message for the kids. You don't know what the fuck your parent has to go through in their day-to-day life. And it's not the daughter's business. I will say that to know like what happened between her and her grandmother. But at the end of the day, I whooped your grandma ass, bitch, because she stole my motherfucking money.
I get the overall story. I get the overall story. I get the overall meaning. But again, I support the daughter because the fact that I'm not in the custody of you lets me know that my whole entire life you've been letting me down. So now it's just like, because I don't think the daughter even knows that there's a room set up. The daughter don't know all of this stuff. The daughter just know you supposed to pick me up and you didn't. And then you want to pull up on me.
Is reserve your judgment on your parents and what they do and why they do what they do until you get older and have kids of your own. You be like, damn, mom, I'm sorry, bitch. I didn't know you went through X, Y, and Z.
All of that, yeah. All of that you had to go through. Okay, and before I get to the last character, I cannot close out the season without talking about the legendary Miss Loretta Devine. What do we think of her this season?
Let me say this, perfectly placed, and this is how I know that this ship is being commanded by some extremely talented writers, producers, and creators, because if you would have put her in the beginning, she would have overshadowed this whole season. The fact that they perfectly placed her towards the end, I loved it. The acting, Loretta Devine is unparalleled in her acting skills. This woman... I'm getting chills just thinking about all her accomplishments and every movie I've seen her, every show that she's done graced us with. And perfect. I love the character. She's not your cheesy grandmother who is sit down and go to church. She will cuss you the fuck out. Everybody to her is a hoe. Okay. I love the fact that she's so inviting of her grandson's, sexuality. His boyfriend, well, at the time... Yeah. Child, the boyfriend, she's so real and down to earth, and that's what I love about, again, all these characters are very relatable, and I love it. Loretta Devine is everything.
I love it too. I think the fact that she played a blind woman was great. The fact that she had so much spice, like she was Loretta. I saw the sliver of Loretta there, but this was the character I had never seen before, and I really loved the diversity of her. After so many years, she could still play a role she's never played before, and it's like by a brand new person. She owned this role. She fit in so seamlessly with everybody else. Like it was as if she had been on set the entire time. She just fit right in. It was like the grandma was already there, was always there. Which is crazy because we've seen Clifford at home. We've seen him, interacting, but we've never seen the rest. And the fact that we did see her, and again, it was so seamless, it fit so perfectly.
And we see where Clifford gets his spunk from.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely see where it comes from. I love their banter with one another. It's really beautiful to see. I really love. And not just, getting into her acting, again, what you said, the dynamic of the grandmother with the grandson, the non-binary grandson, and their relationship was just like, bitch, I love you. Like, it's love. It's no shame. It's no nothing. Like, she celebrates it, actually. Tell him to come over here. I want to meet him. Like, I want to be a part of this.
One thing I loved about the show in its entirety is that it's based in some of the Bible Belt, the South, where a lot of people are closed-minded, and the fact that we're able to fit all of these people that would be considered stereotypes. Mm-hmm. You would think that someone would try to burn the pink down because Uncle Clifford is running it. You would think that he would be getting jumped and gay bashed in places that he went, but no. And then we see all this acceptance and love, and these girls and these straight men will kill you about some goddamn Uncle Clifford.
Okay. And speaking of which, this was the perfect segue. We're going to close out this review with Uncle Clifford. So what did we think of Uncle Clifford's character this entire season? And before we wrap it up, we're going to get into what we want to see from each person. But what did we think of Clifford this season?
Let me just say this. Like, I know I said this about Mercedes, but it's ultimately said for Uncle Clifford, this would not be...
Yeah.
I can't see another person play the role. there could not be another Uncle Clifford. If it wasn't for him, this show probably be boring as hell. And I think he adds that shock and awe value because, again, you think you know what's about to happen, but they surprise you. And that's what I love about the show. And again, and I know we're giving it a lot of praise, and 9 times out of 10, when the first season is the shit, we start to see through these seasons, honey, that they start to lower their bar.
Yeah.
Hopefully this just continues to rise. But Uncle Clifford, I'm here for him, her, she, we, non-binary situations. It's adding a different flavor to the LGBTQI plus community, in my opinion. It's giving us what we need, not the stereotypical bullshit. We see Uncle Clifford has body issues as well as he looks at himself in the mirror. We see the Uncle Clifford struggles, but he still exudes confidence and pride.
I love that it wasn't a slow night. It was just like when we saw Clifford for the first time, he bust through their door, hair, I think it was purple in the first episode. He was like, bitch, what's going on? Like, it wasn't we're going to slide it in. We're going to slowly introduce you because we don't want it. No, fuck that. Clifford is here. Clifford is in your face. It's loud. It's proud. It's unapologetic. And I love that. And from that moment on, I was just like, that's my bitch. Right there. Like, from the moment he bust through that door, I was like, I'm here for that person right there.
Hello.
Yeah, I was here for it. The storyline of Clifford, loved it. I love seeing the struggle of Clifford was bursting at the seams, unraveling because his baby, the Pank, was going under. But between rule number 55.5, all his rules and just him being who he is, he never broke in front of the girls. Or in front of anybody for that matter. He wouldn't even break in front of Lil Murda. He held it together. I loved how the dialogue between him and Lil Murda took place in that car. And he was like, my world is crashing. But tonight I'm choosing to be okay.
Right.
What that is, I'm okay. I'm good. And
until Lil Murda fucked it up later. Because Mama was out there throwing that coat.
That coat was like
for her man, honey. Yeah. She was in the mood, honey. And it wasn't just. Let me say this because I think a lot of people got it twisted. I don't think Uncle Clifford was just going up for Little Murder. I think Uncle Clifford needed that.
She needed that moment.
Yeah, she needed that moment to just kind of do her real quick. And that was like me. Like when I'm in the club and I know I had a stressful week or some fuck shit done happen or I'm out and about and I'm listening to my jam, honey, I'm out here just like, yes, bitch. And Uncle Clifford turned it for me, honey. Yeah. And the reason that bitch fought for that coat was not because it was Little Murder's coat. It was because that bitch probably had that coat on loan. And bitch, we need that coat back so we can return it to get our money back, honey. Hello, God.
And these thirsty hoes is not going to take your coat thinking they just got the end all be all and leave this motherfucking club. No, man. We're going to get this shit back tonight. Okay. But yeah, I loved the realness of Clifford. I love the confidence that Clifford ensued. I love not only, the straight man's comfortability around him, but his comfortability around them. Mm-hmm. We never saw a moment in Clifford's mind when he was like, okay, I'm going to go into the barbershop with me. It was just like, I'm Clifford. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting out this car. I'm twisting in this barbershop and I'm doing what the fuck I got to do. Like, it is what it is. Like, I'm going to have a conversation with these men. Look at how I'm looking and they're going to respect me. I'm going to run in their shit. And it was just as simple as that. And I loved that about Clifford. I loved the order that he kept at the Pank. Not only were the girls respected by the patrons, everybody respected everybody. The DJ was not hitting on the girls. The doorman was not hitting on the girls. Big L was not hitting on the girls. Everybody respected and protected these women. And they protected
our family.
Amen. Amen. And yeah, I really, really, really love Clifford this season. And what I want to see from each character in the second season, I want Clifford and Lil Murda to work out. Absolutely, I do. I want that to happen. I want Lil Murda to understand that for now, given the fact that not many people know about this, you can have the best of both worlds. Just communicate that with Clifford. Communicate that. I want to be with you, but I got this opportunity. Are you okay with that? And let Clifford decide, because Clifford never really wanted to go public anyway. It was you that wanted this. For Little Murder, I want to see you reach your dreams. I want Murder Night to be a new thing. That's easier for Mercedes to kind of fade out, should she still want to, because now we have Murder Night on Sundays. So maybe you could, keep your music alive, perform on Sundays. That could be a little spot. Maybe get you a little drink or something. I want to see his brand grow bigger, but I also want to see him treat Clifford well. Clifford deserves a man that's going to respect her and cherish her. Because even though the paint was struggling, it takes a powerful, strong ass individual, man or woman, to hold up the foundation as it's crumbling down.
Mm.
And Clifford did it with such style and grace. And for that alone, that bitch deserves the world. For Autumn, oof, I want Autumn to finally heal. The fact you called yourself Autumn was triggering. Like, you did that because you are still connected to this child. Like, you have to. I'm not saying, because people lose their kids. I'm not saying let it go, but I want you to heal from it. Embrace Haley and understand that your daughter is now your angel. You can't hold on to that trauma because, you didn't kill the baby daddy. This is a fresh start for you. Cherish her memory, but, move on. And don't think that you're the smartest bitch in the room just because you come across as the smartest bitch in the room. And what I mean by that is don't undermine or underestimate Clifford. Just because he don't have the academic, background that you have. You may have a background in accounting, but bitch, this whole got street smarts. And if you think you're gonna get over on Clifford just because you pay for this shit, you got another thing coming. For Mercedes, I want Mercedes to fall in love. I feel like because she has no love romantically or, in a family sense, she's just all alone. Like the mama ain't really thinking of her. You ain't really got her man because you so hard on him. But either with Maine or with, the coach is married. But who knows? Like I want Mercedes to focus on the second. Like I feel like if you make sure that your cup is full, if you make sure that you're good, if you make sure that you're your best self, that will reflect. That child's foster mom will see that. Your environment, your universe will see that and respond to that. But what you don't see, that girl does see. And that's why I'm not so mad at this foster mom for saying, baby, you're not ready to be a mama to this girl yet. When I feel like you're ready and we get the courts involved, of course, I get Mercedes is this thing because, yeah, you had her. But given how you flipping around, you finna do all these schemes and scams for 10 grand, you're not in any position right now because your mental still ain't there. I mean, you really got to have your ducks in a row. Mississippi. I wanted you to be with Diamond. I wanted you to have the world. Shining, shimmering, splendid. But you fucked it all up when you pulled that gun on Diamond. So now you're going to go home with your abuser that you just protected, that is not going to protect you because he's never protected you. And I just hope, and let me knock on wood when I say this, I hope that you live through the entire second season. Because the licks ain't going to get no lighter. And the licks, and the penalties are only going to come stronger. So you just ultimately told this man it was okay for him to beat you. Because if somebody tried to reprimand him for beating you, you told him that they were wrong. It only boosted his ego. Blooded or not, you still went home with him. Good luck to you, Mississippi. And that's really, for me, it. As far as storylines, Patrice's can go either way. Gidges can go either way. Andre, I don't know if I'll see any of him this second season because the Godfather did tell him, bitch, after this is done, we're done. So he really not gonna even have a need to stay in Chuckalisa unless he just wants to. And if you want to stay in Chuckalisa, that means you gotta really come through some shit with your wife because she wanna go back to Atlanta. So how you gonna work that out? But for you, what do you want to see from these storylines?
I'm not gonna break them down individually, just as a collective, as a whole. I want to see just more character development, progress. Let's again in the beginning of the second season, let's pick up where we left off if we can. I would like to know what happened to the body because in the world of film, a bitch ain't dead unless we see them dead. Just because a nigga was shot and he bled through the door doesn't necessarily mean that he's dead. So I would like to know that. Will the gang come through and seek revenge for one of their members being missing?
The Delta Downs.
Which sounds like a bottom sorority group, child. Okay. Fraternity, honey. So just overall, I just want to hashtag I need more. Again, character development. Let's continue on the sale of this casino. What is that going to bring? Is the pink, are they going to improve it? Something tells me they're going to add more to the pink and make it look better than what it does.
Well, what money?
There's more where that came from.
Oh, now that he dead, yeah, she entitled to his money.
If he's dead.
Well, she might entitled to it, but she gonna have access to it, I'm sure.
So I'm just here for more. I love the show. I hope we can continue with the great writing, great production, great acting. I understand that certain characters over time, we may not see them as much. Some people may die off. Some people may elevate their situation as we see Eloise. So are some of these girls going to get their degrees and move the fuck on and come back and show love to the pink? Just certain situations. On Autumn Night, is she going to still be a dancer? I don't think so.
You're going to start going by Haley now because we all know your real name.
Yeah. And now that you're in a boss position, I don't see her stripping anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, Introvision, there will be a second season. So yeah, that was our review. I wanted us to come and do it together because I was pressuring YB to do it and you guys were pressuring me to do it. So since we were both late on it, I figured why not come together and do it. So before we close out, let me shout out the Introvision. He is actually fresh on the YouTube scene. He put out his first video tonight, you guys. So go to his YouTube channel and subscribe, like the video, and make sure y'all get a piece of what the Introvision has to offer. The Kitty Box. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram. Tomorrow begins the rollout for the Kitty Box. So we won't premiere this coming Sunday, but the next Sunday. It may be Saturday now. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to be. Don't quote me on that. But the rollout for like a promo on where you can follow us and stay connected will be released tomorrow. So make sure you guys are following me down. You see it down here. Catch Me All Official on Instagram. And that's where they'll be posted. Any last words, YBNT, before we leave up out of here? Don't you got a show coming out tomorrow?
Yeah, I guess. Tomorrow at 6 p.m., I'm going to be doing what I'd like to call a conversation piece, but more of a court. The court of truth and justice has to be going on because we're going to be talking to some of the hot boys of Houston and some of the drama that we've seen play out on these here social media streets, honey. So hopefully, we'll see what that's.
I'm so excited for that. If you guys don't know, there has been a lot going on with the Real Hot Boys of Houston. The season hasn't even aired yet. The show hasn't even come out yet, but the characters in the show have really circulated a lot of drama around this brand. And I, yeah, I guess it's time to address it. So YB is going to serve us truth and justice as we take what's going on and try to get to the bottom of it. So I'm so excited about that. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was fun. I think this was a great way to wrap up the entire season. Y'all got, well, I didn't really give y'all a review for the last episode, but we talked about the last episode as we talked about each character. We kind of threw little nuggets in there. So yeah, love y'all so much. Thank y'all for showing love to the Ride With Me segment. That is a new part. I still got to get that mom shit together, but y'all seem to love that, and I love doing it for y'all because I'm just in the car talking shit. So yeah, love y'all so much, and until next time, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and turn your notifications on for both of us. Same place, same time.